But the thing about true fun, as I think of it, is that it's actually really easy to identify, because when people are truly having fun, they look like they're being illuminated from within. So here is a picture of me and my husband having fun together. He had just said something ridiculous. He made a bad pun. Here is, and I didn't realize the timing of this, but here is former Queen Elizabeth and now King Charles having a moment of fun together. Here's some presidents having fun together, and just note that they're different political parties. And here's the Dalai Lama and Archbishop Desmond Tutu having fun together. But as you can see in these photographs, when people are truly having fun, they really look like they're being illuminated from within. There's this radiance to them. In fact, when I asked my daughter when she was about 5 years old what color she thought fun would be, she said sunshine. So what is this sunshine? What is this feeling of true fun? Well, when I collected people's stories, it was very interesting because the details of the stories were different and often quite mundane. But there were these three factors that kept popping up again and again to the point that I believe they constitute a definition, one that's a lot more accurate than what we saw in the dictionary, and certainly much more accurate than the Google images. And those three factors are playfulness, connection, and flow. So, to clarify, playfulness does not mean that you have to act like a kid or play games or make believe. It just refers to the spirit of having a lighthearted attitude and doing things just for the sake of doing them, without caring too much about the outcome. And that's because when we're truly having fun, our guard is down and we are not taking ourselves too seriously. We're letting go of perfectionism, which is just a glorious thing to do considering how hard we are on ourselves all the time. Connection refers to this feeling of having a special shared experience. So I do think it's possible sometimes to have fun alone, but in the vast majority of stories that people told me, there was another person involved. And interestingly, it was true even for introverts. And then flow is the psychological state you get into when you're so engrossed in your present experience that you lose track of time. So not losing track of time in the way that you do if it's like your 6th episode of your favorite Netflix show and now you're starting to hate yourself and wonder what you're doing with yourself and your life. But I mean the feeling that you get when you're actively engaged, like the quintessential example people give is an athlete in the middle of a game or a musician playing a piece of music or even like a really engaging conversation, you can be in flow. So all three of those states are really wonderful when we experience them on their own. But when all three happen at once, we experience what I consider to be true fun. And that doesn't just feel good, it actually is deeply good for us. In fact, fun has so many benefits that I've actually come to believe that it's not just the result of human thriving, but it's a cause. It's actually made me believe that perhaps the secret to both long and short-term happiness is simply to have more everyday moments of fun. So that prompts a question, how do we actually do that? How do we have more fun? So I said I wanted to give you some practical strategies. I'm gonna have a little fun intervention here. Well, the first thing I would say is to definitely not take the advice that you will find if you look up articles about how to have more fun on the internet, which is something I did in my research. And I found suggestions which include, and I'm not making these up, roast a turkey. Put together an altar to loved ones who have passed. Watch a documentary about climate change, everyone's top fun-producing activity, and for some reason my personal favorite was adorn your table with gourds. Now those might be rewarding activities in some other capacity, but they are terrible suggestions for how to have fun. Instead, the best way to have more fun in your everyday life is to focus on its ingredients and to do everything in your power to increase your experience of playfulness and connection and flow.
We are at the tail end of a pandemic. The president announced that the pandemic is over, which is good news. But is now the right time to publish a book on fun while all this is going on?
I think it's personally it was difficult, but I think it's the best time to publish a book on fun because we're so desperate for it. I mean, all of us are so worn down and just really, I think, feeling more dead inside than normal. There was an article by Adam Grant in the New York Times about a year ago about languishing, and it was the #1 most emailed article for, quite a long time. So I feel that we are in desperate need of fun, but we haven't identified it as such.
Right. So on that topic, I just want to dig a bit further because let's be honest, to have fun, you've got to be in the right mindset. You gave us some great advice about flow and about connection, but it's more than just removing negativity from your life to be in the right mindset to have fun. I find it like I can't buy shoes unless I'm in the right mindset. How on earth could I have fun just at a whim? How do we go about finding the right approach that means that at any point we could have some fun?
Well, that was what I'm getting at with the delight exercise, which is basically like a little bite-sized thing you can do to get you more into what I think of as a fun mindset, which is priming yourself to notice opportunities for playfulness or connection or flow that might otherwise pass you by. There's a common misperception about fun that you have to be on vacation or you have to be someplace exotic to have it, but there are moments in every day where you actually can experience this. And it's very important to do so because our brain's natural tendency is always going to be to focus on the negative and on things that will cause us anxiety and fear because it's a survival mechanism that has helped the survival of our species. Because anything, I mean, it could be a threat that you need to run away from. But now, most threats are emotional, or it's like an email or a news story.
Right.
But it takes work to shift yourself towards the positive. So once you start to practice that, though, I think one of the most wonderful things about fun is it feels so good. And you start to notice that there are these little moments of playfulness and connection and flow that are either already happening that you didn't label as such, or that you could help create. And once you do that, it becomes a lot easier to just find moments of fun no matter where you are or and get yourself into the mindset that will create more moments of fun in your everyday life.
So I was thinking about the examples that people were putting up, but it made me think, because I think there is a fine line between something which for us as humans is therapeutic and which is fun. For example, I love to cook. I mean, roasting a turkey is actually high up on my list. I do love getting that bird in there, getting it all prepped, seeing how it's going to come out, then of course eating it. I have fun in the kitchen. I love it. Or is that just therapy? Am I not having fun?
So I would actually say that you're just doing something you really enjoy, which is also worthwhile. So if we're going to get really dorky about it, which I guess we are, which I'm excited about, is that I think there being 3 categories of things we do with our leisure time. You've got the true fun that I was talking about, the true playful, connected flow, this kind of almost euphoric state. You have what I consider fake fun, which social media is the biggest offender here. It's stuff that's marketed to us as being fun, but that does not actually produce playful, connected flow, and that often makes us hate ourselves and everything else.
Right.
So then there's also this big middle category of stuff you truly enjoy that might not produce fun per se, but you still really love it. It's nourishing, it's relaxing, it's just something you love doing, like reading, like cooking, taking a bath, like a lot of self-care stuff. So I would say that if I'm being really technical about it, I don't know that you were having fun roasting your turkey, but you probably were truly enjoying it, and you might have had the anticipation of then sharing that turkey with your family.
Right, and the flow was there because I was into it.
And the flow was there, yeah. So by all means, keep roasting turkeys, Mark.
I'm going to keep doing it.
Roast
one
them.
after the next.
Exactly.
Thanksgiving is one of my favorites.
Exactly. No more moderating for you, just like turkey chef.
Where's Mark? Oh, he's cooking another
He's
turkey.
got a turkey.